Today, we're going to explore something pretty radical, an ancient method for learning how to treat every single person, every being, with the same level of compassion. We're going to dive into a path that's all about dissolving our built-in biases to find a truly universal kind of love.
I mean, really think about that. It's natural for us to prefer our friends over strangers, right? Or to have people we, well, just don't like. But is it actually possible to see past all of that, to develop a mind that holds everyone with the same genuine care? Well, that's exactly the question we're digging into. To get our answer, we have to go way back in time. Picture this, Vulture Peak, ancient India. This whole teaching comes from a text called the Maharatnakuta Sutra. And here, a really brilliant student, the Bodhisattva Bauji, comes to the Buddha with a question that people are still asking thousands of years later.
So let's break this down. Bauji isn't asking for a simple life hack. He wants to know the whole system. How do you live a genuinely pure life? How do you put on this armor of virtue he talks about? And the big one, how do you finally get to that place where you treat all beings as truly equal? This question is the very heart of our journey today.
So how does the Buddha answer? Well, he starts with something really practical, something we can all wrap our heads around, the act of giving. But this isn't just about writing a check to charity. It's about the perfection of giving, and it turns out this is the foundation for absolutely everything else.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at how this slide contrasts our normal way of thinking with this new goal. Our minds are constantly judging. Okay, I'll help my friend, but not my enemy. Or we think, this person is a good person, they deserve help. But that person over there, they're immoral, so they don't. The Buddha says a bodhisattva trains to drop all of that, to cultivate a mind that gives equally, no matter who is standing in front of them.
I love this metaphor. To explain what that equal mind is like, the Buddha uses the image of space. Think about it. Space doesn't care if it's holding a palace or a pile of rubble. It just holds it. Space doesn't get bigger or smaller. It's just there, impartial, vast, and steady. That's the quality of mind this practice is trying to build. So here's the crucial part, the motivation. The text is crystal clear on this. You don't do this to get a good reputation. You don't do it to get rich. You don't even do it for a better life next time around. The one and only reason is to achieve enlightenment for the sake of all beings. It completely flips our usual script for why we do nice things.
All right, so the idea of equality starts with giving, but it definitely doesn't end there. The Buddha shows how this single principle becomes the bedrock for all of your actions, for your entire ethical life. It's what creates that armor of all virtues that Bauji asked about.
You know, that idea of an armor is so powerful. It suggests that this way of being isn't weak or fragile. When you really develop it, it becomes a kind of protection. It shields your own mind from getting hooked by anger or jealousy or bias. It lets you walk through the world with a kind of unshakable compassion.
So let's get really practical. Look at how this works with patience. The text breaks it down into steps. Step 1. Someone insults you. You stay quiet, you don't fight back. Okay, hard but maybe doable. Step 2. Someone hits you. You accept it. You don't plan your revenge. Wow. And step 3, the hardest of all. Someone is filled with hatred for you, and your internal response is compassion, not anger. That's the armor in action.
And this same principle gets applied everywhere, to all of the so-called 6 perfections. You practice equal morality with everyone, equal patience, equal effort, and so on. It's not about picking and choosing. It becomes this complete training program for your mind, basically rewiring it for universal compassion.
Okay, so we've talked about the what and the how, but this all leads to a much, much deeper question. Why? Why should we even try to see all beings as equal? I mean, how is that even possible? Well, the answer requires a radical shift in how we see reality itself. This is the logical question, isn't it? Our senses, our experiences, they all scream that people are different. Some people are kind, some are cruel. We love some people, we're scared of others. The Buddhist teaching asks us to look deeper than what's just on the surface.
This slide is really the core of the whole thing. The Buddha says that in a moment of truly pure, selfless giving, the Bodhisattva sees right through our usual fixed ideas. They don't see a solid, separate me who's doing the giving. They don't see a solid, separate you who's receiving. All these rigid concepts of self, other, life, death, they all start to look fluid, interconnected. It's less like a transaction and more like one wave in the ocean helping another.
And this profound insight has a name. It's called emptiness. Now, this is super important. It does not mean nothingness or that nothing exists. Not at all. It means that everything is empty of a separate, standalone self. It's the wisdom that sees we are all deeply interconnected, all part of the same vast web of life.
And here is the ultimate payoff. If those hard lines we draw between me and you, between friend and enemy, aren't ultimately real, well then what's the basis for our prejudice? What are we even holding on to? When you start to see this way, the very foundation for bias just dissolves, and what's left behind is this natural, effortless compassion for everyone.
So this is all fascinating stuff from an ancient text. But let's be real. The true test is how we can bring this wisdom into our own lives right here, right now.
Let's make this really personal for a second. Just think about your day-to-day life. Who do you automatically label as worthy of your attention, your respect, and who do you maybe dismiss or ignore or look down on? No need to judge yourself. Just noticing that unconscious labeling is a huge first step.
You don't have to become a perfect saint overnight. So what's one tiny, small thing you could do today? Maybe it's giving the same warm smile to the delivery person that you give to your best friend. Maybe it's just sending a kind thought to someone you usually find annoying. What would one little experiment in equal regard look like?
And that really brings us to the final point. This path the Bodhisattva Baoji asked about isn't about trying to force yourself to feel something you don't. It's not about being sentimental. It's about wisdom. It's a practice of training the mind to see reality and other people more clearly. And from that clarity, a deep, authentic, and unshakable compassion is simply born. It's not a feeling we have to fake. It's a reality we just have to see.